of Sennedjem, number 1. Sennedjem served as a servant in the abode or place of truth, and his tomb dates back to Seti I's rule and the first part of Ramesses II's reign, up until the year 11. On level ground near the plateau's edge, he constructed it. It was found in the early months of 1886, and the Egyptian Museum currently houses it, a collection of funerary furniture. It is now that we reach the burial chamber, a small chamber with a vaulted roof. Using the descending stairway found in the tomb's outer courtyard, lovely scenes in vibrant colors are painted on the walls and ceiling. The image of the deceased person's mummy resting on a bed beneath a canopy between the goddesses Isis and Nephthys, who are depicted by the artist as a falcon bird, is seen on the same wall as the entrance on the left. Below the scene is a lovely scene of a banquet where they are serving drinks and maybe some fresh air or breath of life in the form of a white sail inflated by wind. The scenes on the left-hand side of the inside narrow wall depict two scenes of the god Anubis, who is depicted as a blue-colored jackal resting on his white shrine. The eyes of Ojat are depicted above their heads, possibly to allow the deceased to see through them and accept the offerings. The Sennedjem is shown here, with his wife Nefertiti behind him. He is adoring a pair of rows of netherworld gods, each of them is seated on the blue mot symbol. This is chapter number 145 and 146 of the Book of the Dead. Moving to the wall facing the interior, we see some spells from the Book of the Dead, chapter number 17, and, on the far left, a scene depicting the god Anubis tending to the deceased's mummy, which is lying on a bed shaped like a lion. In the middle, there is another scene showing the deceased squatting before the standing god of the dead, Osiris, which is quite rare. He is normally seated. He is within a shrine in his white dress, with the offering table in the center between both of them. A third scene, depicting the god Anubis leading Sennedjem, is located on the far right. The three previously mentioned scenes are chapter number 125 of the Book of the Dead, which is well known as the Negative Confession. Two monkeys are shown adoring the sun deity inside his sacred boat on the other narrow wall, and below that are scenes from Everyday Agriculture Life, which is a passage of the Book of the Dead, chapter number 110, representing the Yarrow fields or the field of reeds that the deceased would like to go in the netherworld. What's left is the section to the right of entrance wall, and it depicts the deceased and his wife adoring 10 different netherworld gatekeepers. Each of them carried a knife in his hand, some had the head of a human, some had the head of an animal, and still others had the head of a bird. Below the scene is a customary scene of relatives and followers holding papyrus stalks. There are 8 scenes on the vaulted burial room ceiling, arranged in 2 rows that are lengthwise. From east, left, to west, right, the scenes in the outer row facing the entryway are as follows. The gods Re, Horokti and Adam are sitting atop a small solar calf with black and white spots. Behind him are 2 lapis lazuli colored trees called Ish trees, with a sun disk above them. These 2 trees are mentioned in chapter 109 of the Book of the Dead, where the god Re is born between them. Next is Sennedjem, who worships 3 of the gods, falcon-headed god Horus Amset and Hapi, which is chapter 112 of the Book of the Dead. After that, he worships the gods of the netherworld and a snake above the horizon sign. Then the deceased worshipping a trinity of gods, the god Jehudi or Thoth, Sia, the knowledge god, and god Adam with double crown. Regarding the scenes in the inner row, they show the deceased and his wife in a kneeling position, worshipping the goddess Nut, who appears from a sycamore tree and pours water for them and offers them offerings, which is chapter 59 of the Book of the Dead. Then they are worshipping the gods of the sky, the disk of the sun, and the stars, which is chapter 135 of the Book of the Dead. Afterwards, a scene depicted a boat with a blue Bennu bird, behind it, the god Re Horokti, and the holy Ennead, which is chapter 100 of the Book of the Dead. Finally, we see the deceased opening the western secret gate of the Duat. Despite its small size, the burial chamber stands out due to its unique perspectives, vibrant hues, different scenes, and bright colors. The solar golden ochre foundation background color symbolizes the light of the sun and serves as a reminder of gold, which is the substance that makes up the god's flesh.